This video is great. Now, Officer Garret Rolfe has been reinstated. Now, if y'all remember, he is the officer who was charged with the murder of Rashad Brooks after shooting him outside of Wendy's. Now, for anybody who doesn't remember this, um, this was during the prime time during the riots. This was in Atlanta, Georgia. Police were called there for a man asleep in a drive-through. Got out, everybody was respectful for about 30-40 minutes. Alright, they told him pretty much, hey, you're going to jail, put your hands behind your back. He ended up fighting them. He actually stole the officer's taser, fired it one time, turned back around, or he ran, then turned back around, pointed at the officer, so Officer Rolfe opened fire and it ended up killing him. Now, of course, there were protests for that. There was riots. The Wendy's was actually burned to the ground at one point. So, I'm glad that Officer Garret Rolfe has his job back. Now, as far as him getting back pay, I'm sure he's going to get that too. Now, let me read through this for a little bit. Now, the Atlanta Civil Service Board announced a decision to reverse the termination of Rolfe's employment with the force Wednesday, saying the fired officer was not afforded his right to due process. Rolfe, 27, shot and killed Brooks. Also, 27, June 12th, when he and Officer Devin Brunson were called to the drive-thru at the fast food joint in Atlanta, Georgia, by customers who said a man was asleep at the wheel, which he was. Alright. The 6-year police officer was charged with 11 counts over Brooks' death, including felony murder. He was also fired by the Atlanta Police Department one day after the fatal shooting. Due to the city's failure to comply with several provisions of the code and the information received during witness testimony, the board concludes the appellant was not afforded his right to due process, and the board concluded Wednesday. Now, I've said multiple times that, he shouldn't have been fired to start with. Multiple other people have said that he shouldn't have been fired to start with. And he shouldn't, alright? When you fight a officer and you take their officer's taser and you fire it one time already, you run, you turn back around, alright? At that point, the officer doesn't know what you have in your hand. You could still have that taser, you could have a gun, alright? They don't know what you have. It's not their job to guess what you have. At that point in time, you've already assaulted 2 officers, and now you are running and you turn back around. Alright? You have a gun-like object in your hand, you're gonna get shot. Alright? And in this case, you just happen to die. So, again, this officer should have never been fired to start with. Honestly, if I was this officer, I would sue. This officer's been through a lot. They've tried to sue him, they tried to keep him in jail. Honestly, I was surprised he even got his job back, to be honest with y'all. But thankfully he did. Again, we'll see how it goes, because I already know people are going to be trying to look for this officer and whatnot. That's how it is with any high-profile case. Alright, people are going to be looking for him, and they're going to want to find this officer, and they're going to try to harm this officer. Again, they went to Wendy's and burned it down. All these people that are causing destruction and blocking streets and whatnot, they don't know facts, and they just think that they can do whatever they want with no repercussions of anything. And just like last night when I talked about the diner who pulled a gun on the Black Lives Matter protesters who swarmed the restaurant. Everybody's calling him racist and all this. He's not racist. Race has nothing to do with this. I can tell you right now, if a white person pulls a gun on me, I'm gonna pull a gun. If a black person pulls a gun on me, I'm gonna pull a gun. I don't really care what your race is, what your religion is, or what you believe in or don't believe in, male, female, it don't matter. If you pull a gun on me, I'm gonna pull a gun on you. It's simple as that. Again, race has nothing to do with anything. That's just something that people cry about to get their way, and when they don't get their way, then they decide that, well, since I can't get my way, I'm just gonna burn the city down and shoot people. And a lot of Antifa members and Black Lives Matter protesters are armed. As y'all seen during the summer protests, we had multiple officers that were shot in St. Louis, and not just St. Louis. There were multiple officers that were shot in New York. There were officers who were run over in New York. So again, you know, we weren't out there. People who were on the right side or why not doing that? We were not out there shooting officers. We were not out there, blocking roadways. We were not out there breaking windows. We were not out there vandalizing signs. We were not out there, doing whatever, assaulting people. We were not out there. And then when y'all go out there and y'all get arrested, then you cry more racism. Again, if you don't want to deal with the police, make sure your car's right. Make sure your tags are right. Make sure your turn signals are working. Make sure you're not speeding. Make sure you actually have registration on your car. Make sure you have a license. All that stuff will help you not deal with them to start with. And if you don't have warrants out for your arrest, if you don't flee, if you don't fight, if you don't shoot them, then you won't have to worry about going to jail. I mean, I don't know how else to make it. Alright, and if you do get pulled over by the police, a couple things that you don't need to do is flee, shoot, fight, have an attitude. All that stuff is going to end badly for you in the long run. Alright, I mean, even attitude, that could be the difference between getting a ticket and not getting a ticket. Going to jail, not going to jail. Attitude goes a long way with police officers. Alright? They deal with people all day long. They pulled you over for a legitimate reason, alright? And black people all the time when talking about, well, he pulled me over because I'm black. Okay, no, the police officer did not just get in his car or become a police officer to say, hey, I'm gonna go find a black person, pull him over just to shoot him or whatever the case may be. That's not how it works in America. Alright, no police officer that I know would do that. Alright, but moving on, glad Garret Rolfe got his job back. But again, we'll see how it goes. He's gonna have to be on alert. But glad he got his job back. He got reinstated. Alright, moving on. Nashville gunman ambushed, shot police officers, then killed himself. Now, Nashville, Tennessee, a police officer was shot Tuesday evening in an ambush-style attack responding to a home where a gunman had lured officers before opening fire and eventually killing himself. Now, the officer who was shot was Officer Brian Sherman. He was shot in the upper left arm as he and other officers responded to a setup call. And reports of a woman shot inside a home in the 7,000 block of Sugarloaf Drive just after 6:10 p.m. A man called 911 saying his brother shot his mother firing inside. When officers arrived at the home and knocked on the door, they were met with gunfire. Almost immediately, shots were fired at the officers. They backed away and Sherman was given first aid by his colleagues. The gunman, identified as 22-year-old Salman Maha, came out at the home with a rifle and fatally shot himself in the head as the officers were attempting to negotiate with him. Police said no officers opened fire at any time. Alright, so again, pretty much he called in a active shooter threat, and he ambushed the officers, and he was so much of a coward that he killed himself. Alright, so I'm going to read through this a little bit more. Now, Sherman, who has been with the department for 2 years, was taken to the Vanderbilt University Medical Center. He is expected to survive. Investigators believe Muhammad called 911 to alert authorities to the area. The caller told the 911 dispatcher he was scared and begged for police to hurry to the home. There was a ruse to get police to the house, he said. Muhammad's mother and 3 siblings were found inside the home unharmed. They would be questioned by investigators. Investigators did not determine a motive for the shooting. Responding officers were not equipped with body cameras. Alright, so I can just tell you right now, this seems like he wanted to kill law enforcement. I mean, that's what it seems like. You make up a fake call. I mean, I don't even know if it's necessarily he wants to kill law enforcement, because if you call in any kind of shooting to law enforcement, there's going to be multiple different officers that respond to that scene. And, yeah, there'll be multiple officers there, but at the same time, they're all going to have their guns out or be prepared to have to use that action. Again, it still seems like an attack on law enforcement, because if it was just a shooting or he just wanted to kill as many people as possible, he would have killed his family that was inside the home also. And again, if he wanted to rack up numbers, he wouldn't just stop with that one officer. He would have barricaded himself inside the house, took his family as hostage, and continued to shoot at officers throughout the night. We would still be dealing with this at this point in time. So, again, I don't really know his motive either. I mean, there's really no clear motive to that. There's just no motive that makes any sense other than it's an attack on law enforcement. But again, he shot that one officer and then walks out and just shoots himself in the head. Again, not a clear motive at all. Alright, moving on to the next story. Now the FBI that was searching for the 2-year-old boy in Virginia, he was found safe. The suspect was also arrested, but thankfully the boy was found safe after 24 hours. Just after 24 hours, they found him. So thankfully he was found safe. Alright, now moving on to next story. LeBron James says he regrets he fueled wrong conversation about Ma'Khia Bryant. Alright, so I'm just going to read through this real fast and talk about this. Now, NBA star LeBron James expressed regret this week about a Twitter message last month regarding Ma'Khia Bryant's the Ohio teen who was shot dead by a police officer while appearing ready to use a knife against a woman. I feel the wrong conversation about Ma'Khia Bryant, James wrote on Twitter on Monday, and I owe it to her and to this movement to change it. Thank you at Fabio Lacinas for educating us about Ma'Khia and her story and why this needs to be about her. James seemed to be saying he regretted sparking a conversation about the Cummins police officer who shot Bryant, rather than focusing on how Bryant came to be in a situation. Los Angeles Star's message accompanied by a retweet of May 1st article written by Fabulous Seniors titled, "Why They're Not Saying Ma'Khia Bryant's Name." In another tweet Monday, James wrote, "Protect our young black women and men." Alright, so number one, LeBron James, just do your job, play basketball, okay? Everybody's come out and said, hey, look, you're a great basketball player, just do your job. Even Trump came out and said, look, hey, you're a great basketball player, just come out and do your job. I mean, it's no different than anything else. It's no different if you're a construction worker, a plant worker, a fast food worker. Just do your job. Alright? I mean, you're not there to make a political statement. That's not your job. If you want your job to be in politics, go apply for it. But other than that, that's not your job. Your job is to play basketball, not judge police officers. I mean, that's simple as that. That's not your job to judge police officers. Alright? And it's not your job to protect young black women and men, alright? None of that is your job. Your job is to play basketball. Just do your job. Alright? It's as simple as that. Just do your job. You have no idea what you're talking about. You were already criticizing this officer before you even watched the body camera footage. Before you even watched the footage, you were criticizing this officer and what he did. And as far as you saying protect our young black women and men, alright, so this officer protects a young black woman and you're still upset. This is the new one for me. I really don't get this. How Black Lives Matter is upset that a white officer protected a young black female. And I fully believe that if the officer would not have shot, this girl would have been seriously injured or killed. Alright, and it's easy to sit back and analyze it after it's happened because everybody's talking about, he should have used a taser. Alright, if he would have used a taser, again, I see multiple problems with that right now. Alright, number one, this is a big girl, so that taser may or may not have worked. Who knows? Alright, number two, she might have been high, she might have been on drugs. You don't know what she's on. So that's another key problem there. Alright, number three, if the taser didn't work, everybody would be like, oh my god, I can't believe they let this officer just kill this girl for no reason. That's probably why he didn't use a taser, alright? And everybody's talking about, he should have fired warning shots. Okay. Nobody should have fired any kind of warning shots. She shouldn't have been charging people with a knife. Like, no officer is going to fire a warning shot. That's just stupid, because then everybody's going to be like, oh my god, he's just firing shots off in the air. He's crazy, No, okay. That's why you don't fire warning shots. Now, again, he shot her 4 times and she died. I think that's reasonable. And everybody's talking about, why he shoot 4 times? Why didn't he just shoot 1 time or 2 times? Again, the fact of the matter is, this officer has a job to do, to protect people. Alright? At the end of the day, you don't know if a taser is going to work. Alright? Like I said, this is a big girl. Taser might not work on her. Alright? Number 2, you don't know if she's on drugs, if she's on alcohol. And again, firing warning shots is stupid. And as soon as this officer got there, there was action already going on. Officers were over there dealing with somebody. You see this man come running out, kick this girl in the head after she done pushed her down. Then you see her charge another girl with a knife. There's nothing else he can really do with that other than shoot her. And again, Black Lives Matter is still mad. Again, LeBron James is upset that supposedly police officers are killing young black men and women. So a officer protects a young black woman and they're still upset about it. I don't understand why they're still upset after a officer protected a young black woman. It's unfortunate that, she'd be killed, but don't charge people with a knife. Simple as that. I mean, I really don't. I don't know what else to tell you. Don't kill people with a knife. I mean, it's simple as that. People are stupid. If you don't want to die, don't charge officers with a knife. And I fully believe that she waited for the officer to get there to do it. I really do. And everybody's talking about, she called for help, Okay, it don't matter. At the point in time, it don't matter who called for help at this point. I don't care if Ma'Khia Bryant called for help. I don't care if the girl who's about to get stabbed called for help. I don't care if the man who kicked the girl called for help. I don't care if somebody 10 miles on the road called for help for that situation, alright? Fact of the matter is, when the officers are there, you don't charge somebody with a knife. Alright, and it's not the fact that he wasn't the only officer there. There are officers over there dealing with the same scene, just there were so many people, they were overwhelmed. He gets there. I don't understand. Everybody's talking about she was in immediate danger, she was in trouble. Alright, from what I've seen during the body cam footage is, the officer pulls up on scene. This guy comes running out the house, kicks the girl in the head. She's laying on the ground. So, obviously, the cop pulls out his gun. Alright, he sees a knife in her hand. And he's yelling, drop the knife, before he even shoots her. He yells it 2 or 3 times. Then, she gets shot in the back 4 times. Alright? So he just didn't run up there, oh, bang, bang, bang. No. He even gave her multiple commands to drop the knife. She refused to drop the knife. That's on her. That's not on the officer. That's on her. Alright? Again, I don't understand why people are so upset about this one. Now, moving on to the next story. And this one is going to be interesting, alright? Because I'm going to put something at the end of this. Now, just reading through this real fast. A suspect in a double homicide in Louisiana, who authorities say kidnapped his infant son on Monday, allegedly used the baby as a human shield during a deadly gun battle with police in Mississippi. Now, the suspect was Eric Donnell, 30. He was 30 years old. He was shot and killed by officers in Biloxi following a 130-mile chase that spanned two states. Now, a lot of people have said, why was it a 130-mile chase, which I agree is a lot. You're in a 130-mile chase. Now, his son was in the car. This was an infant in the car. So it's not like they can just pit the car. It's not like they can just do the stuff that they normally do to stop the car. Again, you have to take into consideration that there is a tiny baby in the car. So they can't use pit maneuvers and all that. Now, they did use spike strips, but he actually went around them. Alright. Now, his 3-month-old old son, LaMelo Parker, died at a hospital hours later from what officials have described as injuries sustained during the shootout. A Harrison County Sheriff's deputy and a Biloxi police officer have been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation into the shooting. Now, anytime there's an officer-involved shooting, the officer is placed on administrative leave due to investigation, and once they're cleared, they will come back and continue their job. Now, when they're on leave, they are paid until they come back, and then they continue their job with the same pay. Alright, now many questions surrounding the incident remain unanswered, including whether LaMelo had been shot by officers or his own father, and whether Smith had opened fire on police first. Alright, a Biloxi Police Department spokesperson on Tuesday confirmed to DailyMail.com an email that Smith did fire on officers at some point either during the chase or the standoff, but he declined to comment on the circumstances surrounding LaMelo's death. Once a thorough investigation is completed, the information will be presented to the District Attorney's Office. Alright, let's see here. Citing unknown law enforcement posts that Smith used his son as a human shield after allegedly killing the boy's mother and her nephew during a domestic incident and kidnapping the boy. Alright. So, again, this man is obviously has problems, okay? Now, the baby died on 1:30 a.m. Tuesday. Now, for all the people yelling, Black Lives Matter, okay, this is my question to you. This is the part that I was talking about that was going to be interesting, alright? So, this is a black man, alright? Now, in my opinion, he killed his... Alright, let's just talk about exactly what he did. Alright, number one, he led his son on a 130-mile chase with police officers, alright? This was a 3-month-old baby. That's number one right there, okay? A 3-month-old baby you put in danger because you're a criminal. Alright, that's how I feel about it. You put your 3-month-old son in danger, and he died because of your actions. So that's on him. In my personal opinion, the officer should not be responsible for that. Alright? If you have enough audacity to put your son in that situation, and then not only that, you're so much of a low life. Like, you use your kid as a human shield. Like, from so many people I've heard, and from what I've seen, he actually had his baby like this, had his arm wrapped around him by the stomach, and had a gun out like this and was firing at officers, and had a son like this holding him out. Like, you're literally using your son, your 3-month-old baby, as a shield. You're using your son, a 3-month-old baby who is completely defenseless. You just let him on a 130-mile-per-hour chase. And then you get out. You hold him hostage. And you use him as a shield. Now, I'm not saying that the child didn't die from officer's gunfire. The child very well could have died from officer gunfire. But the fact of the matter is, if this person is actively shooting at law enforcement, they have to fire back. There's no way that they can just let it go, even if there is a child involved. You just have to use your best judgment and do what you think is right at that point in time. Again, officers have to make that split-second decision between what they need to do. And in this option here, there's really no other way to do it than shoot. And again, it's probably very likely that the child did die from officer gunfire. But there's nothing they could do. I mean, this man was going to shoot at them either way. Again, I just don't understand how, as a father, you can put your 3-month-old son out there as a human shield. Even if you're not a father, how can you put a baby out there as a human shield to let him get fired upon? But not only that, that is part of you. Like, that kid is part of you. He has the same blood as you. He has the same last name as you, and you choose to kill him. Like, you may not have physically shot him, but what you did killed him. Alright, and not only that, you shot and killed your ex-girlfriend. I'm not going to put any of these people's names out there just because. Alright, you shot and killed your 32-year-old ex-girlfriend. You shoot and kill her nephew, 26-year-old. And then, I don't know. But where is Black Lives Matter at? Okay, where are they? Because a 3-month-old kid got shot and killed. Where are they at now? Where's the justice for the kid? Where's the justice for the nephew? Where's justice for her? I could care less about him. He can rot in hell for all I care, but you would think that they would raise money for somebody. Some family member has lost 4 people in one day. They lost him. They lost a 3-month-old baby. They lost 4 people in one day, and yet Black Lives Matter still doesn't care. This is why I don't care about them. Again, just like last night. Alright. Well, it actually happened on Saturday, excuse me. When they were in Louisville at the Kentucky Derby, alright? Y'all are out there disrupting the Kentucky Derby, saying no justice, no peace, can't go enjoy the Kentucky Derby, but you can go out there and disrupt that, but you can't give justice for a kid. That's my whole thing. You can go out there, disrupt diners. When you get a gun pulled on you, then it's a problem, and everybody's racist because you didn't get what you wanted. So a white man pulls a gun, and now it's, oh, well, the white man did it, So this is what the media wants. They want division. And this is part of the reason why I started my YouTube channel, alright? The media wants division. And they're getting it. Between Derek Chauvin and George Floyd, Black Lives Matter protesters. They always talk about January 6th. But let's think about it. Yeah, exactly, Queen Scorp. No warning shot or anything was going to stop what she did. As far as the father, I don't understand how someone who has the same blood as you, somebody who has the same last name as you, I don't know how you could do something like that and be okay with it. I mean, for you to do something like that and just to, I don't know. I don't know how people can do it. I really don't. I really don't know how they can do it. But again, the media wants division, and that's what they're gonna get. All right, now let's think about it. January 6th. All right, it is May 5th. All right, so we're pretty much 5 months after January 6th. All right, and they're still talking about it. They declined to say that, Black Lives Matter protesters were out there and Antifa members were out there. They declined to talk about that. But what they want to talk about is, white supremacy and Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, okay? But if I remember correctly, there were only 2 YouTubers that talked about this. And that was me, and that was Brandon Tatum. Alright, now obviously he's a lot bigger than me, so his outreach is gonna go further. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Hello? Hey. No, that was on the likewise, there's a lot of differences. Alright. Alright, y'all, I'm back. Alright, so, like I was saying before, the media wants division, alright? Now, like I was saying, they constantly talk about January 6th. Fail to talk about, Black Lives Matter and the Antifa members that were out there. All they want to talk about is white supremacy and Trump supporters storming the Capitol and all this, alright? Now, again, like I was saying, there are only 2 YouTubers that I know of that follow this, and I follow a lot of conservative YouTubers. A couple of them follow me. Now, me and Brandon Tatum cover this. Now, obviously, Brandon Tatum's gonna have more outreach to me. Alright, he's got 1,620 something thousand subscribers. I got 1,557, I believe. Alright, so his outreach is gonna be a lot more than mine. But, he didn't even know about it until he went on the news and they asked him about it. And it wasn't MSNBC, Fox News, or any of that. It wasn't even on news or Breitbart. It was real news. Yeah, it was real news. That's the name of it. It was REAL and then news, NEWS. That's what it came from. So if he went on the news, he wouldn't have known about it. And if he wouldn't have talked about it, I wouldn't have known about it. So they still talk about, this part gets me, they still talk about January 6th, 5 months later, right? But over 24 members of Black Lives Matter stormed the Capitol in Oklahoma. No media coverage about it. Nothing at all is said about it. Alright? There were black people there. There were white people there. There were people getting in lawmakers' faces. Again, what's the difference between that and January 6th? Only difference is a Capitol police officer shot and killed Ensley. I forget her last name. That's the only difference is that, and everybody's talking about, well, all these other officers got killed. No, there's a big difference, alright? The other officers died by suicide. Alright, and even Brian Schicknick, they came out and said that he died of natural causes. But the other officers, it was suicide. Alright, and yeah, there were other people hurt. But at the end of the day, it's really no different. Alright, and let's talk about Noah Green. Nobody, every time I bring this up, nobody wants to talk about that either, alright? This was the black man who broke Capitol Police barriers, killed a Capitol Police officer with his car, injured another Capitol Police officer with his car, gets out with a knife, charges more officers, gets shot and killed. Why can we not talk about him? Because I remember it was breaking news when it first came out. Oh my God, Capitol Police officer wounded, one officer dead, gunfire reported. Turns out it was a black man. Oh well, we can't talk about that, guys. We got to move on to something different. Yeah, we can't talk about the black man who actually did this. Oh, then move on. You know, we can't talk about him because that doesn't fit our narrative of what we were talking about. And that's all it is. It is a narrative. Whether people agree with that or not, it's a narrative. I mean, I don't know. Now, moving on to the next story. Republicans threaten to break up Facebook after oversight board decision. Now, I will say, I didn't have much faith that Trump was going to get it back. But he still has his own platform, which is great. Now, Trump can say what he wants without being ridiculed or whatever. And obviously, most of his support on there is going to be his own supporters. Yeah, there'll be trolls and all that, but they'd be way outnumbered. Alright, now, conservatives blasted Facebook and its oversight board for upholding an infinite ban on former President Trump on Wednesday. It's a sad day for America, it's a sad day for Facebook, because I can tell you a number of members of Congress are now looking at, do they break up Facebook? Do they make sure that they don't have a monopoly? And I can tell you that it's two different standards, one for Donald Trump and one for a member of other people that are on their sites. And I agree with that fully. I fully agree with that. Now, Facebook and Twitter and others have clearly established two different sets of rules. One if you're a conservative or a Republican or have a different ideology than them. And one if you're a liberal. Corey Linsey at Trump's longtime political advisor in a radio interview. The decision is a birth, conservative commentator Ben Shapiro wrote. Facebook's decision to uphold its ban on President Donald Trump is extremely disappointing. It's clear that Mark Zuckerberg views himself as the arbitrator of free speech. Again, if Trump can't say what he wants, then, there's a problem, alright? And everybody's talking about, well, January 6th. Trump said nothing wrong. Trump literally came out there and said, I want y'all to go out there and peacefully and patriotically make your voices be heard. And he even said peacefully again. Alright, like I've said, Trump doesn't have a button on these people. They're not robots. At the end of the day, these people are going to do what they want to do. Alright, I know okay. Out of all my friends, most of them are Trump supporters. So I can say I honestly know probably about 100 Trump supporters. I met thousands of them, though. But out of the 100 I personally do know, none of them would storm the Capitol, okay? Now, with that being said, if people have a problem with what Trump said, tell me what the problem is. He said, I want y'all to go out there and peacefully and patriotically make your voices be heard. And he said peacefully again, and people still have a problem with that. I don't see the problem with it. And they're saying, well, he incited a riot. Okay. So, what he did incited a riot, but what Maxine Waters said was okay. What she did was incite a riot. When you say, we gotta be more aggressive, we gotta get in their face, that's not how you go about that. That's really not how you handle the situation. Maxine Waters, that's inciting violence. What Trump said was, he wanted you to go out there and peacefully and patriotically make your voices be heard. They chose to storm the Capitol. Again, he doesn't have microchips in them. He doesn't have a button that controls them and every little thing that they do. Alright, now, The news prompted swift reaction from Republican lawmakers. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy had a warning for big tech. Facebook is more interested in acting like a Democrat super PAC than a platform for free speech and open debate. McCarthy wrote on Twitter, if they can ban President Trump, all conservative voices could be next. A House Republican majority will rein in big tech power over our speech. And I agree with that too. There's a lot of groups I'm in for law enforcement. They've been censored. There's a lot of groups I'm in that support Trump and Melania. They have been censored too. I mean, this channel here has been censored multiple times. One time they took a video down. Next time, they took another video down and banned me for a week. My other channel got it's gone. Alright, for no reason. It's gone. Now, that channel, thankfully, wasn't this channel because the other one only had 351 subscribers, 350 subscribers. So, obviously, that's a loss. But it's not this channel. Thankfully, if it was this channel, then, that would be devastating. And again, I don't understand why they're so, why they want to ban us so bad. Again, it's freedom of speech. What happened to freedom of speech? I don't understand where freedom of speech went. But again, if people are upset that what Trump said over what Maxine Waters said, then there's a problem. Again, Maxine Waters pretty much incited a riot, and Trump was just saying, go out there peacefully and patriotically, make your voice be heard, and boom. He's done, alright? They want to get rid of him just like that. Now, this story just came out not too long ago. Now, this is about a New Jersey school nurse suspended after pushing back on mask mandate. Says it's child abuse. Now, New Jersey school nurse was suspended for refusing to wear a mask amid the coronavirus pandemic and argued it's severely harming students. I've seen kids come in with all kind of dirty masks. The same mask for a week, surgical masks, to have food and dirt on them. School nurse Aaron Penn said, Wednesday, I had a student come to me. He came to the nurse's office and said he couldn't breathe. School nurse who works at the Stanford Township School District went on to say that a student mentioned that he's been shockingly wearing masks for 2 weeks, and he told her he can't take the mask off. How could this be? The kid's sleeping and showering in this mask for 2 weeks. We tried to take it off and we couldn't, so we actually had to cut it off and throw it away. Okay, so that... Wow. Okay, that actually took me by surprise. That's sad, alright? That the school district, number one, is allowing this. And number two, the parents are allowing this. How do you let your kid wear the same mask for 2 weeks? You let your kid wear the same mask. Like, I don't understand. Like, what is this kid wearing it at home? Like, for it to be stuck on his face like that, that's a problem in itself. For him to have a mask stuck to him, like, that means he had to have that mask literally, like, he had to be shown with that thing on for it to be stuck like that. Alright, let's read on. Alright, Penny 35 said the incident is one of many that she's seen at the Stanford school. And nurse is deeply concerned the kids are wearing masks incorrectly and decided to make a stand. Stanford school nurse reached out to her supervisor and mentioned her concerns weren't appreciated. They just bluntly told me we're going to be following the mandates put in place by Governor Murphy. And that includes wearing a mask. She told Clement, I let them know as a nurse I don't feel comfortable enforcing something that I can see and know that is harming somebody. Suspended staff for a school nurse has 3 kids of her own and has been a medical professional for 13 years. Payne mentioned a Facebook video posted by Republican gubernatorial candidate Hershing that the mask mandate is child abuse. Alright, and I agree. Alright, I had a kid come down to me. She was wearing a mask. She was crying. She had vomited in class. I pulled her mask off. It was full of vomit. Her mask was full of vomit. Payne says she added, "These young students are suffering from severe anxiety, and it's heartbreaking to witness. To stand up, you go to America's frontline doctors, Payne, or you can get information about legal resources and how you can stand up and protect these kids that we are supposed to protect." Alright. Payne has been suspended without pay since April 20th. Stanford Township School District has not responded to a request for comment. Alright. So, again, this nurse, okay? You know, what she did is right, okay? I have full confidence. I am thankful for what she did. Now, it's unfortunate that, she's been suspended without pay since April 20th, so we're in May. So it's been, 11 and 6, that's about 16 days. So just over 2 weeks she's been suspended without pay. Now, I'm going to try and, since she is suspended without pay, I'm going to try and get this story out more to somebody like Brandon Tatum, and maybe he can help her get some money for her family. I don't know if this woman is married or not, but either way, it's hard to raise a family with one person working, trying to provide for you, your husband, and 3 kids. That's even if she's married. I don't know if she's married or not. If it's just her, then she is not making any money, and she has 3 kids of her own, and she got suspended for saying the truth. Alright, these kids do not need to be wearing masks. Alright, listen, kids are one of the least likely people to get this virus. One of the least likely people to get the virus. And this has been going on since December, or actually, technically, if you want to get real, it's been going on since November of 2019. So, we've had this going on since November of 2019. It is now May of 2021. We went from wearing no mask to wearing a mask, to wearing a mask and gloves, to wearing 2 masks. How about just let people live their lives how they want to live them? If you want to wear a mask, you wear a mask. If you want to wear 2 masks, wear 2. If you want to wear 100 masks, I really could care less. Alright? If you want to take the vaccine, take the vaccine. Alright, what I have a problem with, though, is these kids that are being sucked into it, alright? And they can't make a decision for themselves. Now, for the kids in kindergarten, elementary school, it really does hurt to see this, alright? I've seen kids get off the school bus in my neighborhood wearing masks. And it's like, why? Why are you making them wear a mask? Alright, and the bus driver's wearing a mask. Why are you wearing a mask? Now, back when I was in school, we had just started getting air conditioning buses. My last 2 years of high school, we had just started getting them. So, a lot of school buses now do have them, but there's still some that don't. Alright, and down here in the south, it gets hot in the summertime. It's already getting hot. Alright, it's already been in the 80s and 90s. So, it's already getting hot. And you want these kids to wear a mask all day in school, minus the, 10 or 15 minute break they get. And then, you want them to continue to wear a mask all the way on their ride home. Some of these school bus rides are hour long, if not more. Alright, when I rode the bus in high school, my ride was like 35 to 45 minutes there to school, and it was about maybe couple minutes shorter on the way home. But at the end of the day, you have kids that are wearing masks for 8-9 hours a day. And then you have kids that ride the school bus and they're wearing masks for another, ultimately, 2 hours. So you have kids wearing masks for 11 hours a day. That is not healthy in and itself, alright? That's not good for their immune system. Alright, to get your immune system up, you have to go out and actually do stuff, alright? Wearing a mask is going to hurt your immune system. And I've said this so many times, but it's especially true for children, and older people. Alright, people like myself in our 20s, people in their 30s, and people in their teens. Alright, our immune systems are pretty much at our prime right now, I would imagine. Alright, so you take a kid who is 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, they don't know any different. They're just doing what they're told to do, and it's affecting them already. But when we're told not to wear a mask no more, alright, what's going to happen? These kids are going to get sick from every little thing. They're going to get sick from, they're going to have more severe side effects from the cold. They're going to have more severe side effects from the flu. They're going to have more severe side effects from everything because their immune system's going to be compromised. Alright? Same thing with older people. People in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. If you're in your hundreds, your immune system is going to be more compromised now because you're suffocating yourself. You're breathing in your own oxygen. That is not healthy. Alright? Any doctor with any kind of common sense would back that. Alright, matter of fact, I want to say 2-3 months ago, alright, had a family member was in the hospital for shoulder pain. Went up there. Alright, I actually got lost on the way back to the room. Alright, I asked a nurse. Now, they were all sitting behind a desk. None of them had a mask on. The nurse actually was like showing me way back. She said, "Oh, let me grab my mask." These nurses and doctors, they don't care. That tells you right there that is not as big as a deal as they're making it out to be. And Dr. Fauci, he's just saying whatever fits the narrative at the moment. That's why he flip-flops so much. Yeah, exactly, Queen. Like, I don't understand why they're making kids do this. I don't understand, and I don't understand why parents are making their kids do it. That's another thing. All right, when I go in grocery stores, I don't have a mask. Now, unless it's Walmart, I will put it on, and then as soon as I get right by it, it's off. But Walmart's not even enforcing it no more. Nobody's enforcing it because there's so many people that are not wearing masks. Alright, even my job. Now I will say I've been thankful my job's never enforced it. They say, wear the mask, but they don't care. As long as it's on you, it can be under your chin and they won't say anything. And that's where mine is at work. And I will say I am thankful for that because I couldn't have a job where I had to wear a mask. I couldn't do it. But again, I see parents in grocery stores that are making their kids wear masks. And I'm talking little kids like 3 or 4 years old wearing masks. I've seen people that have kids that are barely able to walk and they have masks on them. Alright, now I will say I haven't had too many people say anything to me about a mask. I had one person in Walmart that was wanting to say something but never did. I had another person in a grocery store say something, but now at the end of the day, now people are really starting to not wear masks. And I think it's great. And it's not just young people, it's kids, it's people my age, it's older people. I've seen people in their like 60s, 70s not wearing masks. Alright, then again, I do see people wearing 2 masks. I see people wearing 2 masks and wearing gloves. I still see people wearing masks in their car, and I've never got that one. Wearing the mask in your car, I've never got that. That still blows my mind. Like, you're in a controlled environment and you're still wearing a mask in your car. Makes no sense to me, but whatever makes you happy, you do you. Again, I'm not gonna criticize you if you want to wear a mask. Again, if you want to wear a mask, go for it. I'm not gonna say here like, you can't wear a mask, you can't do this. It's your life. Live your life how you want to live it. But again, you do you. If you want to wear a mask, you go ahead and wear a mask. But it's not for me. Alright. Now, a couple more stories. As y'all know, Derek Chauvin has and his attorney, Eric Nelson, have filed a motion for a new trial. Now, he did that yesterday. Today was the final day that he could have done it, which, I have full confidence that he was. He had his attorney's phone number written down. So, how do I think this will go? Alright. Now, like I said before, I think Derek Chauvin should be fired. Do I think he should be in jail? No. Alright, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, why should he be fired? Alright, this is just my personal opinion, alright? There's a difference between using policy, and there's a difference between using policy and following policy. Now, was Derek Chauvin technically in policy when he had his knee on George Floyd's neck? Now, Minneapolis teaches the knee on the neck maneuver. Again, this is why you do your research, alright? They teach the knee on the neck maneuver. So, technically, was he following protocol? Technically speaking, yes, Derek Chauvin was following protocol. Now, did he have to keep his knee on his neck for 9 minutes? No, he didn't, alright? So, again, I just don't see charging him with anything, alright? Like I said, fentanyl is a deadly drug. People have died from fentanyl and had overdoses on fentanyl from touching it, breathing it in. This man has eaten fentanyl. Alright, if you take that much of fentanyl, you're pretty much gone. Alright, unless you just have Narcan right there available, you're done. Alright? But he had fentanyl in his body. He had meth in his body. He had other intoxicants in his body. He had alcohol in his body. So he was pretty much done as it was. Alright? Carbon monoxide from the car exhaust. He had that to deal with. Alright? I just don't see the knee on the neck killing him. I really don't. And the very first report from the coroner said he died from excited delirium, which I fully agree with. I mean, he died from a drug overdose. That's pretty much what excited delirium is. He died from a drug overdose. Alright? And that's what I fully believe. Because he wasn't claustrophobic driving in a compact car the whole time. As soon as I also get, oh, I'm claustrophobic, I can't do this, can't do that. Again, they had him in the car, everything would have been fine. Now, Derek Chauvin's arguing that, George Floyd is a big guy and he had to keep him subdued. Alright, now, if you really want to get into it, alright, George Floyd was a big guy. Now, Derek Chauvin was, I believe he weighed 130, 140 pounds. Alright, now, most officers I know take extra defense training like MMA, and that's how I met some officers, through MMA and stuff. So, you can still be small and defend yourself properly against a bigger person. I don't know. I just don't see charging Derek Chauvin with anything. Again, I don't think he should ever be a police officer again, and he should be fired, but I just don't see charging him. And, again, one juror came out and admitted that she voted guilty because she was scared that her community would be burned down and that her life would be threatened or in danger. Alright? That's why she voted guilty. Now we have this guy that has come out and said that, he voted guilty, and one of the questions was like, did you attend the Black Lives Matter protest? Are you part of Black Lives Matter? Da-da-da. No. Turns out he is, and you can't deny it because he's out there with a Black Lives Matter shirt. He's out there at a Black Lives Matter protest, and, he even went on the radio show and said, this is what we have to do. We have to get on these juries and make convictions. Because the woman even said, jury duty is not no fun, why would you want to do it? And he said, we have to get out there. We have to go on these juries and make convictions. Like, last time I checked, perjury is a criminal offense. So, he should be arrested. In my personal opinion, he should be arrested for perjury. That is a criminal offense, and he should be in jail for it. Now, again, that's just me personally. Now, do I think Derek Chauvin will be free? I mean, there's a lot working in Derek Chauvin's favor. There really is. There's also a lot working against Derek Chauvin. Now, things working for him is you have the juror that's come out and said that she feared for her life, that's why she voted guilty. Alright, you have Maxine Waters, who pretty much incited violence. You have the judge who told you, he wanted to declare a mistrial. Alright, you have this person that lied and said that they're not part of anything when they really are. So those are things working in your favor. Now, they're trying, this is what's working against you. Alright? The media. And that's really all it is. Media and Black Lives Matter protesters. That's all it is. That's all that's working against you. But that's pretty powerful. And media is a powerful tool. It is a powerful tool. Now, Black Lives Matter protest, that's a powerful tool. They usually, between the two of them, they usually get what they want. So, we'll see how it goes. Again, I honestly thought 10 hours. There was no way they had enough time to go through all the evidence and deliberate in 10 hours. There's no way. And there's just no way that you can do that in 10 hours and come up with a conviction. Alright? There's no way that you can do that. I mean, there's just 10 hours to go through all that evidence, watch all the footage, and come up with a conviction. No, it's not gonna, no. Alright. Now, another video, or another story. Now, this is about a K-9 officer. K-9 Django was fatally shot by a felon. Now, Bakersfield Police Department K-9 Django died in the line of duty on April 27th after being shot while pursuing an armed felon. This game began just before 9 p.m. when BPD officers spotted a vehicle that had been reported stolen traveling eastbound on Highway 58. Male suspect refused to stop and let officers on chase before crashing, then through a fence and into an embankment. He then bailed out and took off on foot in the 2000 block of Felix Drive. Officers in K-9 Django chased after him and attempted to take him into custody, at which point the suspect opened fire. K-9 Django was hit during the attack, and officers immediately returned fire, killing the suspect. Alright, K-9 was rushed to emergency veterinary hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Alright, now the dog was 5.5 years old. He was Belgian. Melange was born in the Netherlands and had been serving alongside his human partner, BPD officer Brock Mullen, since March of 2017. Alright, so first for that department. Alright, now one officer has been shot in Arkansas responding to, a domestic disturbance. Alright, so let's talk about this for a minute. Alright, a Prairie Grove police officer was shot responding to a domestic disturbance on Tuesday night. This began approximately at 8:32 p.m. on May 4th, which was yesterday. Alright, when officers received a report of a disturbance on West Thurman Street, Prairie Grove Police Department Captain Jeffrey O'Brien said during a press conference the officers ended up in a shootout with a male suspect during the encounter. But Captain O'Brien said the chain of events leading up to the exchange of gunfire is still unclear. Police apprehended 42-year-old Nicholas Colbert, who lived in the home where the alleged domestic disturbance occurred. Colbert was transported to the hospital with unknown injuries. Investigators say he was injured during the exchange of gunfire, but did not confirm he had been shot. Alright, the officer was rushed to the hospital with unknown conditions, and the extent of his injuries has not been released either. Alright, so no one else was injured during this. Now, if any more information comes available to this, I'll definitely bring this to y'all. Alright, now that's all I really have. One more quick mention is all the severe weather that struck multiple states. There's considerable damage in Mississippi, considerable damage in Texas. North Carolina had damage. West Virginia had damage from multiple tornadoes. South Carolina, or parts of South Carolina, has parts damage from multiple tornadoes, hail, wind damage. Now, as far as I know right now, 3 people have died. All of those are in Georgia. 2 are from trees. falling on a house, and another one is from a tree falling on a car. But that's all I have right now. I'm going to have another video later on today. But until then, as always, thank y'all for watching, and y'all stay safe out there.